welcome to Spyder. For this video, I will be making a Slingshock tier list, or basically I'll just be ranking all the Slingshock Beys from, I believe, 2018 to 2019. Well, not all of them. There's going to be some exceptions, like recolors from older generations that they just slap Slingshock parts on. I won't count those. And also there's certain Beys I decided to just exclude because they're really just recolors. But overall, they would probably still get the same rating anyway, so just decided to exclude those. Also, I am not including the Switch Strike Beys. This is Slingshock, so Turbo Valtryek and Dread Hades, or Calcum, Arbitrary, they're not in here. They're not in here, right? I'm getting mad. I'm gonna do a Switch Strike ranking video next. Also, another thing I'm gonna say is this is all my personal opinion, so don't start whining in the comments if I say I don't like a Bey that you just end up liking. Please. I don't know why nobody else has been doing any Hasbro tier list. When I released my Hypersphere tier list, link in the description by the way, I realized that I was probably the only dude who actually bothered making a Hypersphere tier list, which is honestly sad. Just like the Hypersphere tier list, I'll be rating these Beys by letters F, C, B, A, and of course S. Now I skipped D because, I skipped D in the Hypersphere video. I don't need to bring it back here. Alright, let's do this. Starting with F tier Beys. Z Achilles. First one I'm gonna list. It is just not good. Not good at all. This goes for the original Z Achilles and the black Z Achilles. They're both not good. They don't come with good parts. Okay, now let me say this. Z Achilles as a layer is just not good. The discs, like on the original Z Achilles, just isn't good. Extend Slingshock is okay, but it doesn't have a good... This doesn't have that good of a spring, so it's not really that useful anyway. Now the black Z Achilles came with a black Prevail driver, which is actually pretty decent, but it's still not that good. They both belong in the F section. Alright, that's it. Yes, just like the Hypersphere tier list, there wasn't a lot of F tier Beyblades, in my opinion. Now to all the people who are going to start screaming, oh, the Spyder, there's so many more Slingshot Beys that are trash, because most of them are trash. Spyder, you're an idiot. Everything is trash in for Hasbro. I'm going to ask you one thing. Why the heck are you here? Alright, we're moving on to C tier. I'll just go. I had something to say, but never mind. Okay, Brutal Luinor. C. Disc, not the best. Layer is the driver, pretty aggressive, but spring is just okay on it. Luinor, it doesn't have metal, but I'm not really striking it just because of that. It's really just not that good of a layer. Maybe if it had layer, would it be better? In Hasbro's terms, probably. But either way, it's a C tier. It doesn't perform as well as it should. It sometimes gets some lucky victories because of slow motion bursts, but really, it's just underwhelming. Wonder Valtryek should probably in B tier, but I'm not sure. It's just that it came with a bad driver and a bad disc. But listen, Wonder Valtryek as a layer is actually very solid. It has really good slopes, and it's not as... I can't really strike it for being... It's not really that hollowed out. But the thing is, it was just... I don't know why, but it was just a pretty good layer. I'm only putting it in C because it runs out of stamina really quickly and it has a bad disc. That's really it. If it had something like... Man, if it had like Evolution Slingshot, I probably would have like boosted it. But of course, it was going by the anime stock. But sorry, dude. It's just... Sorry about you. It's just... You're just not there. Gargoyle G4. I honestly don't know if it should be in C or B. Probably C though. I mean, the layer is okay. It came with the 8 disc, which is pretty decent. Then it came with this, I don't even know what it was called. It's some type of it's some Slingshot driver obviously, but I just don't know. The driver was okay. The Bey itself, it wasn't really the best, but it wasn't the worst either. That's why I put it in C. Now, if it was able to get more wins, I'd put it in B, but overall, I'm just gonna say C. Solar Sphinx, C tier. Just thinking about putting it in F, but it's actually not that bad. It looks nice. Its driver's okay, has an okay spring. The layer is pretty good. The layer is what's keeping this thing from becoming an F tier, okay? The layer is actually not that bad. It comes with the 6 discs. It's kinda Is a layer like the best layer ever? And definitely not. I even know if you can say it's a great layer. It's just okay. It's just around there. It's like basic. So I'm just gonna put it in the C tier. Valor B4. C, obviously, because it's here. Because maybe it should be B, actually. What do you think? Should Valor be in B or C? Because Valor can get some mysterious wins. Can it get the greatest of wins? Definitely not. But sometimes it beats Beys that I really didn't think it should beat. But, I mean, it comes with the 6 disc, but it comes with Spiral Slingshock, and the layer isn't actually that bad. It has a very interesting shape. I think it's nice, but you know what? I'm just gonna put it in C for now. Hasbro Beys. I think we all know where this guy goes. C tier. You're probably wondering why I didn't put in that. Listen, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It has a gimmick. The slopes is what hold this thing back. It's just not that good. It comes with the 7 disc, which is pretty decent, and then Atomic Slingshot. Nice. Atomic Slingshot is actually pretty nice. But stock itself still manages to take a huge amount of L's. But because it has some good parts anyway, boom. We're just gonna put it up in C tier. Yay, hooray. Cyclops C4. Also in F tier because why I say F? Excuse me, C tier because it comes with Flugel Slingshot, which is okay. The disc it came with, I don't remember what it was, but all I know is that it wasn't the greatest. And Cyclops C4 as a layer is just It's just around there. Heat Salamander. C tier. Look, it got all the gimmicks and everything. It got the 12 disc, which is not good. Really holds it back. But then again, it has to be able to jump at the same time. Then again, still holds it back. You can get some wild hits, but can't really get a lot of victories. Operate isn't the best of drivers. It's unique, but definitely not the best. So I still have to say C tier. I'm not gonna dwell on this one for way too long. Alright, that's it for the C tier Beys. Oh boy, we're going to the B tier. And let me tell you, B tier has the most Beys. I'm pretty sure it has the most of Beyblades. Let's get through this. Turbo Achilles, B tier. What? But Spyder, it's Turbo Achilles. They got Turbo Blades. Yeah, but they weren't really the best. Turbo Achilles as a layer, pretty solid actually. Although it doesn't have good slopes. It can get really good hits, but it doesn't have good slopes. That's why it needs the burst stoppers. But even then, the burst stoppers can easily get knocked back in, and then it'll take an L. It comes with double O, which is nice. But and then it comes with Dimension Slingshot, which is honestly better than the original Dimension. But at the same time, it's kind of Maybe it does belong in. I just don't think it belongs in A. Actually, it can't really get the greatest of victories as a stock. So yeah, sorry, dude. You're gonna be in B tier. Emperor Fornius, original, B tier. What? What do you mean by original? Well, there's a blue one. And let me tell you, the blue one does not belong in B tier. It belongs way higher. Yeah, this Emperor Fornius does not have the best of slopes, and that's why it's in B tier. However, the layer shape is nice, so it doesn't burst all the time. It comes with Zero, which is a nice disc, and it comes with Yard Slingshot, which is a pretty cool driver. It's actually useful. Is it the most useful driver? Probably not. Is it still good? Yes. So I'd say B tier. Vice Leopard belongs in the B tier. Now, as an attack layer, it has insane defense. It's very odd. It has the gimmick that doesn't really work as intended, but it just I think all it really did was actually increase the burst resistance, because that thing doesn't burst at all. It just doesn't burst. It's like Turbo Spryzen, but without turbo blades. It's like it doesn't need it. But it's just so weird, but I would have to say B tier. It comes with Destroy Slingshot, which is great. Like, it's just nice. Lift's frame is And then the disc that came with is whatever. So B tier. Geist Fafnir, B tier.
What? Try!
Oh, the Spyder has no rubber. Listen, guys, I don't care. It's Geist Fafnir. You gotta show some respect. Listen. Yeah, no rubber. But guess what? It had the clamp gimmick. The Absorb driver is still pretty good. Like, pretty good. I love it. It's a nice driver. Slingshot mode on it is but you know what? No one gets Absorb Slingshot for Slingshot mode. They get it for Absorb. 8 dash is actually nice. Now, did it come with a proof frame? No, it didn't. But you can easily slap another frame on it. In terms of stock, it actually deserves a B, in my opinion. It's actually not that bad. I don't know why people thought it was awful. I guess it's because it was the first Fafnir without rubber. But if you just cast that aside and actually use it, it's not that bad. It can get some surprising wins. And it can still technically spin steel, just not as much as it could have. Revive Phoenix, B tier. What? But Spyder is Phoenix. Listen, it's Revive Phoenix. Chill. The Revive armor, listen, it has the gimmick and everything, but it's just not the strongest armor. It's not, even though the armor doesn't really do too much. There's probably 1 or 2 instances where it can get really good, but other than that, it's kind of like Now, Phoenix itself has some great burst resistance. It comes with a grid disc, and the driver's okay. So overall, I'm just gonna say B. The Fusion Beyblades, left Astro and right Artemis, they are both in B tier. You're probably wondering why. Well, listen. Okay, left Astro and right Artemis, they have the most interesting customization choice I've ever seen. Now, the Takara Tomy versions were kind of limited, but basically what's up with these two bays is that you can you'll split each of them in half, and then put one of their halves together, and then boom, you get a whole new bay. It's like, that's why they call it, but for Takara Tomy, what do they call it? I can't remember. Duo Eclipse, that's what they called it. But for Hasbro, it's Fusion Aether. And what's interesting with Hasbro is that both of the halves can form a new bay. So you can basically make a lot of combos out of 2 bays. It's absolutely insane. So I honestly wanted to boost them up to B tier just because of that. The layers are actually not that bad. You gotta put on some good discs. The driver on left Astro is not good. That's the main reason why it's B. Right Artemis, the main reason why it's B is it just has the 6 discs. It's kind of for it. It needs some more weight. This specific bay anyway. Other than that, the driver right Artemis is nice. Left Astro has a really good disc. So yeah, B tier. Kraken K4 belongs in B tier. It's a nice bay. Comes with Prevail Slingshot, which is a nice driver. The Kraken layer is pretty darn good. It just comes with the 11 disc, and the 11 disc is yeah. And the thing about it is that the 11 disc is probably good for a Kraken in this case because it's stamina type. But at the same time, even so, it's not the greatest. I mean, you can get some decent wins. But, well, I say it's the strongest bay, definitely not. I don't think, it's close to A tier, I'll just say that. But it's not quite there, in my opinion. So I'm gonna say B tier, but it's like high B tier. I'll just say that. Typhoon T4, B tier, but I would have to say mid B tier. Actually, I'll say high B tier, that's around there. Listen, they can stand up to a Hypersphere bay. And that Hypersphere bay it stood up to was Galaxy Zutron. I don't know how. Look, we had a Valentine's Day tournament, and that's when I really brought my ratings up for it. It did so well, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. So yeah, I would have to say, it comes with an okay disc. Layer itself is nice. It's not the greatest, but it's nice. And it does come with a decent driver. Not the greatest drivers, but it's nice. So overall, B tier. Now we have Rooter R4, which belongs in B tier. I'll say low B tier. No, or mid. I have to say mid. The slopes on it are surprisingly good. The layer is useful. It doesn't come with a good disc. I believe it came with 12. It's just not that good. And then it also came with, what's it, Fusion Slingshock or something? I don't know. It just didn't come with that good of a driver. I mean, the driver's okay, but it's not really. it's just a very common Slingshot driver. I wish it came with something better, something different, maybe something new, but it just didn't. It just came with that. So sorry, you're gonna be in B tier. Dullahan D4. B tier it is. I would put it in A tier. I'll say it's high B tier. But listen, the Dullahan layer is nice, pretty nice. The Tower Slingshot is the most underrated Slingshot driver I've ever seen. Like, when it first came out, everyone was so mad, like, oh my gosh, Hasbro ruined the purpose of Tower. And I'm like, y'all do know they made the original Tower, right? Well, how come they can't? What's wrong with them doing this? Now, I would understand if they didn't make the original Tower, but they did. And this Tower is actually better than the original Tower. It has such a better spring. The gimmicks on it, while it doesn't have that whole Tower raise gimmick thing like the original Tower had, it's still a lot better. It's just still a lot better. It belongs, like, Dullahan overall belongs in B. Air Knight, B tier. What? It has trash stamina. Surprisingly, you're right, but you know, then again, it's not that bad. It comes with good parts besides the disc. Air Knight as a layer is just extremely useful, like extremely useful. I would put it in A tier, or maybe even S, but the thing is that despite how useful the parts are, it just doesn't work out right for some reason. Like, Expand, and then you have Eternal Slingshot on it, which are both pretty good, but they just don't make Air Knight good for some reason. For some reason, they just don't match up. It's very odd, but as a stock, I actually have to say it's pretty good because you get really good parts besides the disc. But yeah, it's just nice. Even as it's stock, it can still get some insane bursts sometimes. And it has great burst resistance, really good slopes and everything. So yeah, pretty good. Perfect Phoenix. B tier. High B tier. Listen, Perfect Phoenix, it has, I mean, of course it's Revived Phoenix, but with the Dread armor. And this recolor, yeah, but still in the visual release. It came with the one disc for some reason, and then Tower Slingshot. But both parts, like, everything about this bay screams good for combos. Like, just, you can buy this and then get good parts, basically. And even so, with the stock on its own, it's pretty solid. Has a lot of burst resistance, can get some good hits, can get some good victories. It's just nice. So I have to say B tier. It's really a buy for the parts thing. And the Perfect Phoenix thing, yeah, no metal and everything, but it still actually works, surprisingly. Like, it's still heavier than the Dread Phoenix alone, and then the Revived Phoenix alone. It's still heavier. It's interesting. It's not heavier by much, but it's still nice. LOL, that noob forgot Ogre 04. You know what? I'm gonna rate it myself, and I'm gonna give it B. Right, so now we're moving on to A tier. Favorite part, because everyone's wondering why I put certain bays in A tier instead of S. Yeah, this is why it's my favorite. Emperor Fornius, Cyber recolor. I'm only gonna call it the Cyber recolor because it just looks like that. Or you could say Spyder recolor. Then again, my channel never existed when it came out, so I guess you can't say that. Yeah, it's very solid. This is what Emperor Fornius should have been, like the original one. It has the exact same parts as the other Fornius, just different colors. But the difference is that this Fornius has good slopes. That's it. It just has good slopes. Great the parts, and then the layer, of course, great layer shape. This is why it's an A tier. This is what Fornius should have been to begin with. But I'm glad Hasbro actually redid Fornius. That was just nice. And they gave it a shark launcher, which is very smart. Dread Phoenix, A tier. Woo. Lowest of A tier? I don't know, but Dread Phoenix is just awesome. Listen. Why does Revive Phoenix get an B while Dread gets an A? Well, it's because the Dread armor is actually durable. And it can actually do some damage. Like, nice damage. Now, I can't say it's the best. There's still plenty of bays that can just, like, avoid it. But seriously, though, I can tell when it gets good hits with the armor flying around the stadium. The Revive armor, you don't know. It looks like the Revive armor is just being ping-ponged around by its opponent. But this time, nah, it's just nice. More mass to it. Has the pretty much the exact same parts as Revive, other than the armor and the layer itself. It has really good slopes. The driver is nice. It comes with great disc. It just belongs in A. I won't say it's the highest of A tier, but it's just nice. Unless you want to count Or Vanguard. No, I can't say it's an S tier, but it's cool. Speaking of, I think I missed it. Listen, Or Vanguard is actually an A tier. It's an A tier Bay because it's. Now, I'm gonna explain why. The layer is extremely useful, actually. I think the outer disc is very good. What's holding this driver back is probably driver. I basically spilled the beans, but really, the driver holds Engar back a little bit. Is it better than the original Quest driver? Yeah, it really is. Quest Slingshock is actually better. No debate. I don't want to hear any debating in the comments. Or really see it. You can't really hear it. Whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting bay. Gimmick is pretty nice. Yeah, it still has the whole free spin thing. It just doesn't have the section gimmick, but that's okay. It makes it better. And yeah, it's really good for combos. It's just really good for combos. That's why it's an A tier, but not really an S. Galaxy Zootron. My goodness. I really wanted to put an S tier. But what kept it from getting an S tier is that there's no frame. But listen, if you put a cross frame on it, it's a monster. It's just absolutely insane. Even without it, it's insane. Not as insane as it could have been with the frame. Come on, Hasbro. But it's still nice. Listen, I recommend playing on the cross frame. It's just really good. Like, the layer, I don't know what it is. It's one of those layers that isn't hollowed out. Now, it doesn't have the gimmick, but it's just still super strong regardless. It comes with liner slingshot, which is actually amazing. I was actually surprised at how good it was. It's just a very solid driver. It keeps the bay from getting knocked out of place easily. It has surprisingly a good amount of stamina. LED is not really there, but still, just put on a frame. And it came with the, I think 4 discs? Or was it 5? I think it was 5. But either way, it was just eh. I would say A tier. It's just very good. It's just a very useful bay. Spiral Traptoon. Why the heck is it in A? I think it should be in B, but I'm just gonna say lowest of A. Now I think sometimes it comes with a bad mold, I believe, but I don't know what. I think it was just the driver, but listen, the wedge driver is actually not that bad. It's pretty good. It came with 8, which is a okay disc, but the real main star of the show is the Traptoon layer itself. I've seen Hasbro make some recolors with them, and the recolors are always good, like solid. Like Traptoon is just solid. Now the thing that people hate about this Traptoon is that there's no rubber in the layer, but because there was no rubber in the layer, it was a lot more offensive. And yeah, I would honestly say lowest of A, but if you want to put it in B tier, I guess you could put it there. But in my opinion, if it was going to be in B tier, it'd be like around the highest. Crash Rocktivore. Underrated as grass. Yes, it's very underrated. I mean, whoever thinks of grass? Crash Rocktivore. Underrated. It's amazing. It's so good. I know people were whining about, oh, no wing gimmick, oh, no metal, but it's like, I mean, it can beat the TT version. I mean, so at that point, you should really think that it can be useful. I mean, this thing, it has a really good layer shape, You can make a lot of good attack combinations out of the Rocktivore layer, and it doesn't come with the best of discs, but the driver, my gosh, it's insane. Has metal on it like it should. It's wedge I'm talking about, or wedge Slingshock in this case, but goodness, can it attack? And the thing is, it's the one driver that can take a bay that has the worst slopes, like lightning ice trails, and actually make them pretty good. Or like make it feel pretty good. The spring in it is insanely tight. It's just really good. I love it. Breaker Excalius. A tier. Excalius heavy hitter. Huge sword part. Of course, only the tip is metal, but still, it's the best Excalius released right now. It comes with one dash disc, which suits it perfectly. Now, it didn't come with the dagger frame, but you know what? That's okay. Sword Slingshock, I believe that's the driver. It's okay. It's not the greatest, but if you just swap that out with something better, maybe something with more stamina even, Excalius is just a threat. It has really good slopes too, and it has the layer gimmick with the whole breaker mode thing. It's just nice. It's solid. I love it. Alright, we're finally moving on to the S tier section. And I'm pretty sure y'all know which bay I'm gonna list. Brutal Lunar. No, just kidding. I already mentioned that. It's a C tier bay. Turbo Spryzen. Monster Bay. It's just it's a monstrosity in a good way. It destroys everything in its path. It has the best turbo blades, best burst resistance out of all the turbo bays. Pretty thick of a layer, so it can hit hard, like really hard. And then comes with great parts. Yeah, Zeta Slingshock, I actually can argue is better than the original Zeta, because at least it has a true attack mode, which is Slingshot mode. The other attack mode on it is just eh. I kind of wish they kept defense mode and just made the attack mode the Slingshot mode, but honestly I understand why they left the normal attack mode, because they're probably like, I don't think a lot of people want to go completely crazy all the time. But the thing is, Turbo Spryzen is so heavy that the attack mode acts like a nerfed stamina mode, like a dramatically nerfed stamina mode. But that's why I always use Slingshot mode most of the time. But yeah, it has dual spin, it got everything, it's just pretty good. Super solid bay. Now, Morigja. I think I pronounced it wrong. I said Morigja? No, it's Morigna. Is it really an S tier? It's probably an A tier, but you know what? I'm just gonna show it some love and put it in an S. It's S or A, guys. Take your pick. Morigna is, as a layer, is extremely solid. It comes with a 2-disc, which actually isn't that bad, and then it comes with Loop Slingshock, and Loop Slingshock, listen, you would think it's trash, because, you know, the original Loop was just not that good. But guess what? Loop Slingshock is what I call an improvement. A true improvement. They just raised the height a little bit, and it's already, like, pretty good. Well, I say it's a top tier driver? Probably not. But the thing is, the loop gimmick now actually works, because it's taller, and it actually doesn't drains the stamina way too much, and it doesn't constantly scrape against the floor. It has some better LEDs, and like way better LED. I can't say way better, but it's just better. It's just good. Put on a frame and it's even better, but Morigna has great slopes, great burst resistance. It's a true defense type. I love it. Guardian Kerbeus. S tier. S tier. But Spyder, Survive Slingshock isn't the greatest. Well, put an A. But I still don't think it deserves that. Well, you can't put it in B. You wanna know why? Guardian Kerbeus was so good that it was banned from a lot of tournaments. It's pretty darn good. You can make so many combos with it that's OP. Listen, slap Guardian on a Hypersphere driver, you win. Put on Orbital Hypersphere or something. It's easy victories. It's that good. Good slopes, great. I mean, the layer shape is surprisingly good, and despite how small it is as a layer, it's just solid. And then, of course, it came with the heavy disc, which isn't really the greatest, but in Guardian Kerbeus' case, I honestly think it makes it better. Because when you think about it, a small bay like that, with such a good slope and such a good layer, I think the lighter the bay actually is, the harder it is to burst, because all it'll do is just take knockback. But even so, it doesn't really take that much knockback because of the Survive driver or Survive Slingshock, which still isn't really the greatest of drivers. And honestly, I think some molds of that particular Survive driver was stuck in Slingshot mode. But despite that, let's say if it was actually functioning how it properly would be, it would be like A or S tier. So take your pick. You really thought I would forget Archer Hercules, huh? S tier it is. Archer Hercules layer, beast mode, beast, just beast. Comes with a light disc, but that's what actually makes it really good. It's already heavy enough, in my opinion. And then it comes with Eternal Slingshock, which is amazing. It's an amazing driver. Don't know why it didn't function properly on Air Night, but it does pretty good elsewhere. It has the free spring ring and everything. And look, people think it wasn't going to be good because it didn't have the palm material on it, like bearing. But guess what? It's still very good. It's a very amazing driver. It's still very competitive. I love it. It's just great. I believe Archer Hercules belongs in S tier. It has a high burst resistance for a stamina type, and it's honestly broken. Alright, that is it for this tier list. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Do you think I did a good job? Do you think I did a bad job? Think I did okay? Just let me know. Please, honestly, I just want some honest comments. Anyways, thank y'all for watching and keep blading. And I will make more tier lists. I'll try to do one for probably Switch Strike Beys, because I didn't mention like Turbo, Valtric, and all them. So yeah, I'll do another one.